What up, my dudes? You know we sipping on that tea, baby. All right, listen, JLV. You really need to listen right now, big dog. If there was ever a time you need to listen, it's now. I'm going to tell you right here, everything that needs to be done with MX Simulator right here, right now, the most important things, like this shit, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. This is not like oh, well, it'd be cool if this was done in the... No. This is like, it's got to be done. If you want to even think about competing with, like, any other game right now, you know? Certainly now with everything that MX Bikes is doing and all the updates and everything like that, MX Bikes is getting every single new player that is even going to step their toenails into this simulator type world, right? Or anything more than just a standard arcade motocross game. The MX Bikes is getting every single new player to it. Like, I honestly don't know how MX Simulator would even be able to pull even half of the amount of the new players that MX Bikes is pulling right now. So, anyways, top 3 things right here, dude. First things first, you have got to put MX Simulator on Steam. Period. No question about it. I don't know why it's never been put on Steam. I don't know why it keeps getting pushed back and still not put on Steam. But like at some point in time, MX Simulator needs to be put on Steam, dude. Like, period. Do you not realize how many new eyes to the game that you're totally missing out on? And it's just so much easier not having to fuck around with all those stupid little snapshots and what snapshot do I have? And, oh man, there's a new snapshot. How do I download it, man? Shit, is that even the new one? Damn, dude, that one's got bugs in it. Damn, dude, now my controller won't work, man. Fuck, dude. Like, that is so annoying. It is so much more simple just having a game on Steam, automatically update, and you can play the game. Like, hello? That is like by far what needs to be done, okay? Number 2, you have got to add some more first-person camera options to MX Simulator, okay? MX Bikes is literally showing you how to do it when it comes to that right now. Okay, a lot of you guys like to call me an MX Simulator fanboy, but I mean, here's another perfect example of how I am well aware of the many more first-person camera options that MX Bikes has to it. It just gives you so many more ways to experience the game and tweak that first-person camera to get it, you know, more like it fits your kind of riding style and more like you want to, you know, have it in a particular game. With MX Simulator, you're kind of stuck in this little box. When it comes to first-person camera options, you really are. You're stuck in a little box. MX Bikes has it to where you can have it locked to the bike or not locked to the bike. It has 2 different first-person cameras to begin with, right? So you can switch between, one of them's a little bit more like a GoPro-esque style view, and the other one's more like a standard, you know, style view to it. And then on top of that, you have the option to have it locked to the bike or not locked to the bike. And depending on whatever kind of combination you have there, it's going to totally change your experience within it, right? Whereas MX Simulator, it's forced locked to the bike. You can't make it not locked to the bike. And then there's only one first-person camera option on MX Simulator. All you really have on MX Sim is your field of view, and then the couple other little settings like fucking, you know, first-person height and angle or whatever the hell. That's all it really has. And I wish JLV could sit down and realize how badass that would be to be able to experience MX Simulator's physics system with all the different first-person camera options that MX Bikes has, right? You know, if you get in there on MX Bikes, you set it to not locked to the bike, you get on that second first-person camera, right? And it really gives you this GoPro-esque, very realistic, actually, looking from the eye, because that's very similar to the way you would see things in a GoPro helmet cam video and stuff like that. Do I personally want to necessarily change my first-person camera on MX Sim to that. Not necessarily, but I do think it would bring a lot more people to MX Simulator, and it would give people a lot different of an idea of the way the physics are on MX Simulator, because the way you see it and the way you experience it dramatically affects the way you feel it. You understand what I'm saying? Even though those are two separate things, if somebody can't see it in a particular way, or they're forced and locked into this particular first-person camera option, then they may very quickly, easily get this idea that MX Simulator is very restrictive. It's not as realistic when you're throwing whips in first person. It's not, all this different shit, and that's not even a physical thing. That's just a visual thing. But with the lack of different kind of first-person camera options, it's like, fuck, man. I mean, especially now that you have the competition with MX bikes. Hold on just a second, boys. Tea break. Tea break. Hang on now. Spency boy fucking on one right now, dude. Hang on. Okay. And it makes it all the more important to give more first-person camera options now that there is that MX Bikes competitor. Because now, if you even have certain individuals that, let's say they play MX Bikes, they have their first-person camera set up in a certain kind of way, and then they want to go try MX Simulator, well, they're going to get quite a shitty experience in a sense of they're not going to even be able to get the first-person camera to even be remotely how they have it on MX Bikes. I would say for the majority of people, it's going to be very tough to achieve that. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, you got to have more first-person camera options. The third thing you have got to do with MX Simulator, take the fucking Erode out of the game until it is ready. Okay? Why have you guys beta tested the Erode system on MX Simulator inside of the pro racing on the random online servers? You have ran a beta test for the last 5 years. That's exactly what you've done. This whole time since 2017, 2018, the end of 2017 into 2018 when they started the terrain deformation system shit to MX Sim, all the way up to this point, that should have never been put in the pro racing. It should have never been put on a random online server unless, somebody's own little side custom shit and they were trying to mess around with it or whatever. But I'm talking about those big, Elsinore public servers. It should have never been put in any of those until it was actually ready, until it was actually completed. You guys rushed the shit out of the Erode system on MX Simulator. And have you not seen the negative impact it's made to the game? You know how many people used to be hardcore fans of the game before you started doing the beta testing? You know how many pro races you fucked up by not having everything optimized, not having everything ready, all of these little extra issues that, a terrain deformation system in a game from 2007 would cause? All these things you guys just didn't see coming, right? And it has heavily impacted your pro racing esports scene of your game, okay? You still don't have cushion to the dirt, no matter what kind of little improvements you've tried to make to it. And then you run into this, well, you're trying to make it where it'll make the ruts big enough, but then not too choppy, right? Try to make it where it'll design the ruts big, but you're never gonna get anywhere, dude. Like, you have to have a change to the core of the game engine before you're ever gonna get MX Simulator's Erode system where it really needs to be a proper terrain deformation system in a motocross simulator, okay? You're trying to simulate, this isn't just like fucking reflex terrain deformation, that's fun, even though that's actually better than the Erode system on MX Sim, which is ironic, but like you're trying to replicate real life terrain deformation, dog. For the longest time, it wouldn't even make a rut, wouldn't do anything in a straight line. That's how the Erode system was from the beginning, okay? Then they finally started tweaking with it, got it where it would do a little bit, but then it was making too many kickers, right? It'd make a random-ass kicker everywhere. Then it was making it too choppy, so then they tried to optimize it to smooth it out. But, like, it's at the end of the day, it's still, what? You boys have been beta testing Erode for, what, 5 years now? 4 years now? I mean, if you can't see that the progression of the Erode system is not moving anywhere near fast enough, if you can't see that, then we ain't the same, bro. Like, it's going to, I mean, at the rate that they're going, it would bare minimum take another 5 to 10 years to have the Erode system on MX Simulator to be even remotely like what I would call, quote unquote, acceptable in a pro esports, racing experience in a motocross simulator. It's going to take you another 5 to 10 years to get it even close to that. And we ain't even getting into the, messing up all the old content and, the deformation is not going to work on the thousands and thousands of custom tracks in the game before they added that particular update to it that only works on the newer tracks. You create all these other issues. Erode has created so many more issues than it has created, like, benefits to the game. By far. It ain't even close. But again, it goes back to that. Had you just been working on it on the side, had you been beta testing this Erode system on the side and messing with it and running it in some races on the side, and you didn't just wham, throw it right into the pro racing as soon as you could, like, that would have helped your case a lot. If you didn't just wham, shove it right in there, let's test it out inside of the esports pro racing. Yeah, dude, we haven't tested this at all, but let's throw it right into the pro racing and beta test it for 5 years in the game. From literal scratch, bullshit, not optimized, terrible, jank shit. Yes, let's just throw that right into the pro racing of the game. All of you idiots that had that idea in your head that was going to be a good thing to do in the pro racing, you directly influenced something that has damn near killed the game. I just want to let you understand that. You have directly inputted something that has damn near killed the game. And I love how you boys want to talk about, well, MXM would have died if we wouldn't have put in a road set. Well, you've damn near killed it with putting it in there, you idiots. Have you not understood that? Like, your whole argument for having it is the game would have died without it, but the irony of it is you basically killed it by rushing it and shoving it right in the game when it wasn't even ready. Come on, guys. You got to get smarter than that. And listen, I'm the first person to admit that every motocross game needs a good terrain deformation system. Yes, I 100% believe that. But there's a lot more rules around that. It's got to be ready. It's got to be a good terrain deformation system. It's got to have cushion to the dirt. It's got to have all these other elements. It's not just as simple as saying, oh, yeah, it's better because it's a terrain deformation system, so it makes the game better. No, a shitty terrain deformation system makes the game worse than not having a terrain deformation system at all. Period. Get your shit together. I don't care what you got to do, JLV. But, like, the rate you're going with that, you're not getting anywhere. You're in the grand scheme, you're not getting anywhere. And again, goes back to your main competitor right now, MX Bikes, is a new game engine. It has cushion to the dirt. The terrain deformation is so much more rideable on MX Bikes than it is MXM. Feels so much better. Nowhere near as annoying. It's been in the game from day one. Everybody's gotten used to it. It's a normal thing. It's not like splitting your community in two different areas like you did with MX Sim. Everybody got used to playing the game a certain way from 2007 all the way up to 2017. 10 motherfucking years. Then you want to just shove this thing that totally changes everything about the game and the dynamic of everything in the game, and you think that's going to help your case? Come on now. But anyways, the reason why JLV hasn't really put MX Simulator on Steam yet is because, everybody's got their UIDs in the game that they had, right? And so if you just plop MX Simulator on Steam, you're going to have so many people that they don't want to have a new UID because that's based, that links everything to all of your pro races, all, you know, how long you've been in the game, all that kind of stuff. So there would have to be some sort of system to link your old UID to your Steam account, right? They would have to put some sort of infrastructure in there to create some sort of UID linking to your Steam MX Simulator for that to ever really work. And that's probably why it's not been done, right? The way MX Bikes kind of did it was, you know, they came out with the game on Steam shortly after the game had come out. You know, I mean, yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years later, but still, I mean, for the most part, like, most people can just get MX Bikes on Steam and just run off of that UID on Steam, and that's fine, you know? Like, I have 2 different UIDs on MX Bikes because I bought it before it was on Steam, and then I supported Poboso by buying it again on Steam, right? So, but still, I feel like for the most part, everybody just runs off of their user identification shit that they have on Steam and just kind of put that old shit to the side. But MX Simulator has been around for so much longer, you can't really do that. You know, it's got to have more of a link your old UID to your Steam account type shit. You know, your Steam MX Simulator account. There's going to have to be something done there, but nonetheless, man, it's hurting the game. All 3 of these things on MX Simulator that I just talked about is detrimental to the game, specifically to bringing in the new player or bringing in a player from MX Bikes or whatever. You know, that's the most critical shit you need to be worried about right now, like, by far. But anyways, man, hope JLV sees it, hope he takes it to heart. This is the real shit right here. This is where we're at with MX Sim, dude. And there really ain't nothing else to it, man.